Hello and welcome to the Navarcade podcast, a little show about exploring esoterica and weaving the magic into the mundane. This particular episode is a little bonus one of sorts. Because the recent full moon in Aquarius spread featured the Four of Cups, I thought it might be useful to share an older piece I had made in November 2023. I did a little impromptu and improvised ramble about the card on my YouTube channel, and you can still find it there, youtube.com/@upwardbow. But if you're new to my work, you probably haven't seen it yet. And even if you have, it's fun to revisit something in depth, and also to have it available in a different medium. As a heads up, I was going for a very soft-spoken, borderline ASMR style with that video, so some parts may be softer and slower than I would have made them for a podcast format. However, I have edited the audio for refinement, especially regarding those pauses. And if you use the Overcast app for your podcasts, that'll speed things up even more so. Anywho, please enjoy this little trip down memory lane. In tarot, every card is a message, and that exact message can change depending on the other cards happening around it. What's going on in your life, your goals, your dreams, your hopes, your desires. But overall, there is a general meaning. Four of Cups, what it has to say. You have to sort of let go of what your expectations have been. And that is easier said than done. There is something that's been happening lately where no matter what you do, no matter what's going on, you're not getting what you want. And you probably feel disappointed. And that's okay. It's okay to feel disappointed, and it's okay to feel frustrated when you don't get what you want. But you can't hold on to that forever. All of the cards, all the fours in the tarot sort of speak to a sense of stability and solidity, but you can have too much of a solid and stable thing. You're being stubborn. It's not a good thing. You're missing out on what's good for you. In the traditional Rider-Waite deck, you have that figure and they're sitting at a tree with their arms crossed and they're feeling very frustrated, and you can feel it. But you can also see in that card that they aren't seeing what's around them. They aren't seeing what's being offered to them because they're so stuck on something else that they're imagining, and they are stuck with a very mental image, a construct of what they wanted, of what they think they wanted, the solution that they desperately, desperately want to work out or to achieve, and it's just not happening. And if you've ever wanted something so badly and failed to get it, it's not fun. And it's holding you back, feeling like you need this one specific thing or this one specific way of doing things, this set of whatever it is, a structure or people or a person. When you are so chained to that specific ideal, that specific construct, it puts you in a position where you're unable to get anything else. And it's cups. With cups, it's our emotions. It's also our connections to people. And I think the most obvious, maybe it's not the most obvious, maybe I'm telling on myself, but the most obvious example of this can be when you want someone or you want a specific dynamic in a relationship and it just doesn't happen. Maybe it fails to happen for a million reasons. Or maybe it fails to happen for a single reason. But either way, when you don't get that, when you don't get what you want, it feels unfair. Especially if you've tried to do something, especially if you've pushed and you've tried new things and you've gone out of your way to do whatever you think was necessary. And despite all of that, nothing's changed. And despite all of that, it's still out of your reach. But you gotta let it go. And that's easier said than done. But when you don't let it go, you lose the ability to feel other things. You lose the opportunity to experience other things. And I mentioned a structure, construct earlier because that's what holds us back from moving past the Four of Cups as a concept. When we create a structure or construct in our head, that's a mental thing. That's swords territory. And the Four of Cups just wants to remind you that there's a breadth of emotions and experiences and connections that you can feel that have nothing to do with the one single thing that you think you wanted, that you thought you wanted. So when it comes up, don't think that the thing you want, that the thing that has been consuming your desires is all that's left for you. Because there's not. When the Four of Cups shows up, it's 4 cups. And you can't be spending all of your time on just the one. Because you don't know. You don't know what the others are filled with. You don't know what the others have in store for you. And whatever outcome that you keep searching for, that you keep desiring, maybe it's not a situation, a dynamic with a person or a person. It could be a job, it could be a gift, but it's the expectation of something. And when you get so caught up in how that one thing feels and looks and what it means and what it represents, it's a very myopic thing. It's something that's very limiting, and it's something that prevents you from experiencing the other stuff. And if the Four of Cups is something that feels unfair, if you wanted something and you couldn't get it, and it feels like you've been shortchanged or jilted, the real injustice is that you're missing out on everything else. And why do that? When the Four of Cups comes up, you have to trust that what is for you is really for you. We can only see a limited perspective, I should say. It's like you have blinders on when you have the Four of Cups show up. Are you looking beyond what you already know? That's the question that comes up when you pull the Four of Cups. Are you ignoring what else is going on? Are you so focused on feeling shortchanged that you can't see the richness going on around you? Is this one thing worth more than all the other stuff that you don't even know about? So you have to ask yourself, what am I missing out on when I'm so focused on this one thing that I couldn't get, that keeps feeling out of reach? What am I holding myself back from when I'm so embroiled in holding on to this old expectation? Why did you want it? What was it that made you crave whatever it is that you crave? Whoever it is that you crave, whatever idea of a dynamic that you crave, you really have to get in to what that means for you. And sometimes you also have to think about what it really feels like to harbor all of this disappointment. Because that's the other thing that the Four of Cups is. It signifies our disappointment and our frustration. And in my tarot training, my mentor said that card can be the bratty card. But why do you have to be a brat about it? Depending on what else is going on in your life, depending on what the thing is, you could be an adult about it. You should be an adult about it. But that's the tough love aspect of it. The Four of Cups really does say, I see that you feel like you're missing out, that you feel like this wasn't fair, that you are feeling disappointed. But it is there to remind you there's so much else that you could have that's just for you. There's so much that could be more restorative and more pleasurable and more comforting or enriching than whatever it is that you thought you wanted. But you have to be the one to figure out, are you ready to let it go? Because in some ways it's probably already gone. It's already out of your reach, right? Because if you could have it already, it would be yours. Depending on what's going on with you, you may feel like you are closer to it than you may have been in the past. But how far will you keep this up? How long will you keep this up? How far will you go to try to grasp it when it's not yours to grasp? Because the chalices, the cups, I mean, they're not transparent glass, right? You don't know what they're hiding. And maybe what you wanted was the idea of what that one cup was. It looked great from the outside. It looked great when you built it up in your mind. But is it really that? If you were to really have it, would that be what that really is? And only you have that answer. Only you know whether that is something that would fulfill you, that would heal you. And it's a process. You can't rush it, but if you've been pulling this card a lot, if it's coming up in your readings, you can take a breath and really look at what it is that you need. We don't need what we think we need sometimes, or what we think we need is only a fraction of what we could have. So consider other options. It's the Four of Cups, but you're really stuck on just the one. What else is out there for you? If you could let go of whatever this thing is there a chance you could be happier? Is there a chance you could feel better? Is there a chance letting go allows you to heal better, to heal more? Those are the questions you have to ask yourself. Those are the questions only you have answers to. But you're not alone. We all feel this way. And everyone gets a chance to move on. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider forwarding it to a friend that you feel might resonate with the message.